The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the parking lot as Daniel Martinez wiped his hands on his work shirt. At 42, he'd learned that life rarely went according to plan. 3 years ago, his wife Sarah had passed suddenly, leaving him to raise their 7-year-old daughter Emma alone. Some days were harder than others, but Emma's smile kept him going. He was loading groceries into his truck when he heard it, the unmistakable sound of an engine refusing to start. Click, click, click. Then silence. He looked over and saw a sleek sedan with its hood up, and a woman standing beside it, phone pressed to her ear, frustration evident in her posture. Daniel hesitated. He had Emma waiting in the truck, and they were already running late for her soccer practice. But something in the way the woman's shoulders sagged made him pause. He remembered all those times strangers had helped him after Sarah died, how small acts of kindness had carried him through impossible days. "Emma, honey, wait here for just a minute," he called to his daughter. He approached the woman cautiously. She was probably in her late 30s, dressed in business clothes that suggested she'd just left work. Her blonde hair fell past her shoulders, and when she turned to face him, he could see the stress in her eyes. "Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice you're having car trouble. I'm pretty handy with engines if you'd like me to take a look." The woman's expression shifted from wary to grateful. "Really? That would be amazing. The tow company says it'll be 2 hours, and I have to pick up my daughter from her grandmother's house." "I'm Daniel," he said, extending his hand. "Rebecca," she replied, shaking it. "Rebecca Chen. I appreciate this so much." Daniel leaned under the hood, his experienced hands checking connections and testing components. Years of maintaining his own truck had taught him well. Within minutes, he'd identified the problem, a loose battery cable that had worked itself free. "Well, there's your issue," he said, tightening the connection. Battery cable came loose. Happened sometimes with all the vibration from driving. He wiped his hands again and gestured for her to try starting it. The engine roared to life immediately. Rebecca's face lit up with relief. "Oh my goodness, thank you so much. What do I owe you?" Daniel shook his head. "Nothing at all. Just glad I could help." "No, really, please let me pay you something. You've saved me hours of waiting and a tow bill. Honestly, it took 5 minutes. Someone helped me change a tire in the rain last year when I really needed it. Just paying it forward." As they talked, Emma had climbed out of the truck and wandered over, her curiosity overcoming her patience. She stood beside Daniel, looking up at Rebecca with wide, thoughtful eyes. "This is my daughter, Emma," Daniel said, ruffling her hair affectionately. "Hi Emma," Rebecca said warmly. "Your dad just rescued me from a very long afternoon." Emma studied Rebecca for a long moment, that particular intense gaze that children have when they're processing something important. Then she tugged on Daniel's sleeve. "Daddy, can I talk to you for a second?" "Sure, sweetheart." He excused himself and knelt down to Emma's level, out of Rebecca's earshot. Emma leaned in close and whispered, her voice carrying that earnest quality that only children possess. "She's really nice, Daddy. And she's pretty too. Like how Mommy was pretty." Daniel felt his heart squeeze. Emma rarely mentioned Sarah anymore, as if she was afraid talking about her would make him sad. "She seems very nice," he agreed carefully. Emma bit her lip, then whispered even more quietly, "Maybe she could be my new mom? You should ask her to marry you." Daniel nearly choked. "Emma, sweetheart, that's not how it works. I just met her 2 minutes ago." "But Daddy, you're always alone. And you look sad sometimes when you think I'm not watching." "She looks kind. Like she'd make good pancakes." The logic of a 7-year-old, measuring potential in pancakes and kindness. Daniel hugged his daughter gently. "I love you, Emma. And I'm okay, I promise. But we can't just ask random people to marry us." Emma looked disappointed but nodded. As they walked back to Rebecca, however, she suddenly pulled away from Daniel's hand and ran up to the woman. "Miss Rebecca?" Rebecca crouched down to Emma's height. "Yes, honey?" Emma glanced back at Daniel, then whispered something to Rebecca. Daniel watched as Rebecca's expression shifted through surprise, understanding, and something that looked like tenderness. She glanced up at Daniel, her eyes suddenly bright, then back at Emma. "That's very sweet of you to say," Rebecca said softly to Emma. "Your daddy seems like a wonderful person." Daniel felt his face flush as he approached. "Emma, what did you say?" "Just that you're a really good daddy," Emma said innocently, though the slight smirk on her face suggested she'd said more than that. Rebecca stood, composing herself. "She's lovely, Daniel. You're clearly doing an amazing job." There was an awkward pause, the kind that follows unexpected emotional honesty. "Well, I should let you get to your daughter," Daniel said finally. "And we're late for soccer practice," he added. Rebecca nodded, but seemed reluctant to leave. "Daniel, I know this might be forward, but would you let me buy you coffee sometime? As a proper thank you? And Emma too, of course. Ice cream?" Daniel found himself smiling. "I think we'd like that." They exchanged phone numbers, and as Rebecca drove away, Emma grabbed Daniel's hand and squeezed it triumphantly. "See, Daddy? Sometimes you just have to tell people what's in your heart." Daniel looked down at his daughter, this wise little soul who'd experienced loss but still believed in connection, in second chances, in the simple power of kindness. "You know what, Emma? Sometimes you're absolutely right." As they drove to soccer practice, Daniel realized that grief had made him forget something important. Life continues, and sometimes it brings unexpected gifts. Not replacements for what was lost, but new chapters worth exploring. Emma had reminded him of that today. Whether anything would come of coffee with Rebecca, he didn't know. But he was grateful for the reminder that opening your heart to possibility, even in small ways, was how you honored both the past and the future. That evening, Emma whispered goodnight to her mother's photo as she always did, then added something new. "I think Daddy might be happy again soon, Mommy. I hope that's okay." Daniel, listening from the doorway, felt tears sting his eyes. But they were different tears than before. These held hope. If you enjoyed this story of kindness and second chances, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Leave a comment below telling us about a time a stranger's kindness changed your day.